Hi, I'm Lydia Moynihan.
And I'm Michael Sheets.
Welcome to the Weekly Bowl and welcome to April.
Here's this week's school headlines. International Ventures 2016, the Caribbean. A dedicated group of King students have just returned from an exciting trip to a closed Caribbean nation where they successfully communicated the work of the Lord to those who have never heard of him, and where now many new believers are involved locally in churches. For more on International Ventures, visit the King's College website and go to Student Life.
The Great Debate, Provolone or Whiz? Last week, King students returned from a successful weekend in Philly where they participated in their final debate tournament in the U.S. before nationals. They faced off against schools including Yale, Cornell, and even Cambridge. They debated important issues like whether or not churches should be held legally responsible for the results of faith healings, and whether or not free trade deals should be authorized by popular vote. However, the most important debated issue of all happened later during dinner at one of the most popular cheesesteak joints in the city, where the team disagreed about the proper cheese toppings for Phillies. National championships will take place in April.
Evil and Human Conscience. Dramatist Max Frisch and theologian Dietrich Bonhoeffer have inspired a lecture to be led by Dr. Freedom Rodant, the third president of the King's College, on April 18th. Founders Day, evaluating the common human conflict that occurs when what we want for ourselves clashes with what others want. Tickets can be RSVP'd at via Eventbrite.
Here's this week's city news. Oculus, the new hub of Wall Street. The World Trade Center transportation hub, otherwise known as Oculus, was unveiled to the public earlier this March. It's one of the largest indoor public spaces in Lower Manhattan and ranks as third largest transportation center in the whole city, behind Grand Central and Penn Station. The construction of the structure cost about $4 billion, nearly twice the initial estimate. It was designed by Spanish architect Santiago Calatrava in the shape of a bird taking flight. Currently, only the ground floor is available to the public. However, the second floor is set to house retail stores and restaurants, but is still under construction.
New York leads fifth in national growth. As of July 2015, New York City's population peaked at 8,550,405, increasing by about 55,000 from the previous year. The two leading boroughs in terms of numerical increase are Queens and Brooklyn. Although Manhattan is lacking in buildable land and affordable pricing, neighborhoods like the Financial District are combating this problem by building upwards rather than outwards.
Reporter Isabel continues her coverage of House Executive Team elections. This week, Bonhoeffer, Truth, QE1, and Churchill.
Good afternoon, this is Isabel. Again, big thanks to all the students that served on House Exec Teams this year. And congratulations to the students who've been elected to replace them this coming fall. Thank you, Jacob, Michael, Josh, and Furman for leading the House of Bonhoeffer this year. Please welcome next year's exec team. Josh Heinen as president, Jonathan Harville as chamberlain, Zeke Ward as scholar, and Brandon Smith as helmsman. The House of Truth was led by Alex, Sarah, Michelle, and Sadie this year. Thank you, ladies, for your service. Next year, Truth will be led by Dorea Slagle as president, Evelyn Stetzer as chamberlain, Aaron Elenas as helmsman, and Abby Hughes as scholar. Thank you, Leah, Darian, Abby, and Ali for serving on exec team for QE1 this year. Welcome Jessica Matthews as president, Adriana O'Connor as chamberlain, Anna Eves as helmsman, and Darian Evans as scholar. Farewell to Churchill leaders Scott, Zach, Visna, and Jesse. And please welcome President Peter Murphy, helmsman Josh Sampson, chamberlain Jonathan Sally, and scholar Jonah Ortiz. Join me again next week to welcome next year's exec teams for the houses of Ten Boom and Reagan.
Reporter Abina fills us in CPAC with an interview of the TKC Republicans.
Hi, I'm Abina Nimsimwa, and I'm here today with Communications Director and Executive Director of the King's College Republicans, Alina and Andrew. Thank you guys so much for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Alina, can you describe what CPAC is for the general audience and sort of tell us what your general experience was there during that weekend?
Yep, so CPAC stands for the Conservative Political Action Conference, and it's held annually in Washington, D.C. The very first Republican president speaker there was Ronald Reagan. It was really good to be able to bring 11 students down from King's with us there. We got to network with students from all over the country and with conservative companies and think tanks like the Heritage Foundation and the Koch Institute, and just listen to almost all the presidential candidates running from the Republican Party, so it was an awesome experience.
And Andrew, can you tell us if there's any ideas that you took from CPAC that you're going to incorporate into the King's College Republicans in years to come?
The greatest thing about what we got out of CPAC was networking. with a lot of students. There's the opportunity to network with a lot of students, and like she said, with other organizations as well, to really expand our network with Kings, the network that we have here in New York City, as well as the network that we have with other college Republicans in other states as well.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Alina, who is your favorite speaker?
My favorite speaker was Glenn Beck. He closed out the conference and he just really ignited the flame in everyone to say, the motto of the conference was, "Our time is now." He just really brought it full circle of what it means to be a conservative, how it should look like today, without telling you exactly this is who you should vote for, or this is what you should think. So it really brought us together as a party, and standing ovations every other sentence. It was amazing.
That's incredible that there's such a movement there. Andrew, what are you expecting at the next CPAC conference if you're able to attend?
2016 was a great conference with some really great speakers. It's definitely going to be hard to beat. But for in 2017, I think looking forward to that would be really good as a Republican president. Would be a great speaker at the 2017 CPAC.
Guys, thank you so much for sharing your experience with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Finally, Elizabeth gives us the first interview with newly crowned Michael Martinez, this year's Mr. TKC.
Hey guys, my name is Elizabeth Kaufman. I'm here with Michael Martinez, our newly crowned Mr. TKC. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thanks so much for having me.
As you went into this competition, how did you prepare?
Yeah, so I knew that the competition was going to be really stiff, so I actually went to the gym for the first time in about 7 months. I just thought I've got to get into the headspace of demolishing. I ran about 2 miles. I did that. The whole weekend I would only whisper. I actually didn't talk. It was more of like a sort of thing, and only drinking honey. I try to just get into my thing.
Michael, do you consider yourself to be a humble winner?
Absolutely.
I'm sure you're getting pulled from the streets and especially in classes. I'm sure people are so excited to be with you and see you in person. So how are you dealing with this?
Yeah, the subway has been tough. I've actually started to travel via motorcade just because I get noticed very easily, and so I've just been trying to avoid that as much as possible. I think at the end of the day, it's really been nice just to have so many fans around me. One of my fans is actually here today. She's over here. Hi. Excuse me.
Oh my God.
Hi.
Sorry.
No, I was just saying that how you were part of my fan club. It's been great.
Michael, what's been going on with the press?
My phone has been ringing off the hook, and I actually had to throw it out. I threw it in the East River just to get back to my inner peace. It's really important for me to stay grounded and stay true to myself. Hi. Sorry, there's some people there that wanted to see me. But it's really just about getting off the grid a little bit. This is actually my only exclusive interview.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. Was there any specific person that you were necessarily nervous to compete against?
Yeah, Matt Salovich.
Oh, hey Michael, how are you doing?
I actually don't talk to him at all anymore.
Where did you develop this talent from?
I actually woke up from a nightmare about 3 weeks ago, and I woke up singing. It was an out-of-body experience, and I just couldn't stop.
That's amazing. Michael, could you give us a little preview, a little taste of that opera singing that you performed?
Sure.
That was beautiful. Would you give us another taste of that?
Sure, yeah.
Hey, Michael, hey, if you could just come back to your seat.
Thanks for joining us, and stay tuned for our coming exclusive Interregnum coverage. Also, the Weekly Bull is looking for more videographers to help film episodes. Contact executive producer Ivan Olivo for more info.
Keep up with the Weekly Bull to get the scoop at school. We'll see you next time.